What's up, guys? It's Cody Moore here with Whiskey Throttle Media. We're out here at Perris Raceway testing out the 2025 KX250. We're on the vet track out here today. A little bit harder packed, slick conditions. Yeah, I rode the 24 out at Paulo. It was a little bit deeper, so it was definitely different riding today. Kind of hard to compare, but today I felt like the bike was very manageable with the power. It was a lot slicker, so having the smoother kind of getting on the power really helped me to keep traction and gain it for some of the jumps that I was hitting. Yeah, so today with how the track was, very slick and slippery, a little bit of chattery bumps. So what we did to fix that with the suspension is on the forks, we ended up changing the compression. We went 12 out, which was 4 softer. On the rebound, we went 1 click faster, which was 7 out. And then for the fork height, we ended up keeping the stock height on it. Didn't have any issues with it. So on the shock, when we were out there, it kind of felt like it was nose diving a little bit off some of the jumps. So to fix that, what we did was we went 2 softer on the low speed, which really helped, and it fixed that. And then with some of the more chattery bumps, we ended up going 2 3/4 out with the high speed. And then the rebound we kept stock. And after we did those changes, it really felt like the bike was planted. Coming out of the corners, the bike was seated into the dirt, so I had traction the whole way through, and it helped me hit some of the jumps out of the corners or just keep traction to keep the speed up. So after we did that, the whole bike felt a lot better than it did. With the motor being a little bit more linear of a power, it really complemented the suspension with that, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, so once we got the suspension dialed in, I noticed a big difference with me kind of trusting the more slippery corners with it, hitting the outsides, a little bit of loamy dirt, more like silt, and it handled that fine with the chatter coming out of it. I could trust it and be on the gas more all the way through. There was a couple ruts coming into the corners with some chatter coming out. After we did that, I felt like the front end wanted to track all the way through the rut instead of bouncing out and around. So with that all together, it immediately started to be comfortable. Right when I got on the bike, we spun a couple laps, and after I did that, it was great. I had fun the whole time. Rider triangle was really good. I didn't feel awkward or as if anything was a little bit tight. Everything felt roomy with the rider triangle, and the clutch and everything just felt comfortable right away. I love the hydraulic clutch. I wish more 250s had that, so I think that's a nice touch that Cowie has with their 250. The brakes, I felt as if they were strong even with these slippery conditions. I felt like they were still there and tracked all the way through. Maybe dragging a little bit of brake here and there really just kept it, the traction nice the whole way through. I think a nice touch that Cowie had with this bike was the adjustability for all the riders that it has. If you're a taller rider, they have all different mounts for the foot pegs here that you can slide up and down, whatever you want. The engine hanger has different holes on it that you can actually change. Excited to test those out in the future. And same with the triple clamps. You can actually adjust those too. So if you're a little bit taller of a rider, you can adjust the bars and not have to spend a bunch of money getting different stuff you can just get with it stock. While we were out here today, we had our off-road specialist, Kat, come out. Doesn't get on the moto track too often, but she got out there, so here's some of her thoughts.
All right, hi, I'm Kat Fitzpatrick, and I was able to join the Whiskey Throttle crew today here at Perris Raceway. Typically, I ride single track trails and enduro style riding, so my bike is a 2-stroke, and this is a very different world for me, so it was really great to come out here and learn a little bit about this 4-stroke Kawasaki. So my initial impressions is that it's a very comfortable bike to ease into the moto world. When it comes to me and a track, I'm pretty nervous about it, and we're very different, but with the right bike in between, it's definitely doable, it's approachable, and the connection between me and my bike and then the bike and the track was something that I felt could progress with a little bit more seat time. Initially, just getting on the bike, it was very comfortable with the brake and where all the levers were. I was comfy on the bike and felt like I could ride without having to think about the bike too much. The biggest hurdle that I faced was with the difference between the two-stroke and the four-stroke. And it wasn't until after a few laps I had really bad arm pump in one arm, and I've never had that before, and I was trying to figure out what it was. And coming from a two-stroke, I like to kind of ride in between the bottom and top end of the power, and so I always have that little bit more extra, and I will control the speed and the power delivery with my clutch. And with this four-stroke, the Kawasaki power delivery was really smooth and linear, and so I would be in basically, I think, a gear too low, thinking that I'm have another gear or another bit of power like I would with the clutch on a two-stroke. And so that led me to holding on a lot more and being on that power without having that momentum, not bogging, but just a little bit more rolling speed into things. So I'm not on the throttle the whole time. But not having that, I ended up being on the throttle a lot more, but without getting the speed that I was expecting. And that led to me having that arm pump. But once figuring that out and realizing that what I needed to do was shift into the next gear and trust that the power is going to be there when I stay on the throttle before I kind of chop the throttle or pull in the clutch, which was my natural go-to coming from the trails and a two-stroke. But what I liked about this is that despite getting arm pump, there was instant feedback from the bike, and it was really consistent. So I had the same problem lap after lap, and once I figured it out and made changes, they were consistent, and so that gave me the confidence to know that, you know, I was doing the next right step. And so I wasn't clearing all of the jumps, but just as much as I needed that little bit of speed. That little bit of speed was the difference between clearing that jump and not clearing it. So I'm really confident to know that with some more seat time and some more laps that I would be able to get to that point on the track where I could clear some of the smaller jumps. I don't need to clear all of the big jumps, and I didn't feel intimidated by this bike on a bigger track than anything I'm used to. So I think that the power is there, but without being something that you really need to manage a lot, where you're wrestling with it and it's intimidating. It has the ability to meet you where you're at, but then also kind of guide you towards progression to get you to go faster. So I felt safe on the track despite, you know, being new and on a different bike than I'm used to. And I was also pretty excited to progress, and this bike gave that opportunity because every change I made, it had great feedback right away, and it was consistent. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was very humbling to go from like rocks and stuff and then to cornering and hitting turns, which is out of my comfort zone. So it took a couple of laps to get to a place where I remembered I was on a track. But overall, I think that the four-stroke was a really, really great bike. And this Kawasaki is a great bike coming from trails or anything to get onto a track. It's definitely rider friendly, it's comfortable, and it was a lot of fun. I would really want some more time on it, and I think that I would be clearing these jumps and be at the track a lot more often if I had some more seat time on this bike.
Big thank you to Ride Perris for having us out here. Kawasaki for the bike. Can't wait to see what we can get out of this thing. And yeah, stay tuned for more projects in the future.
If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.